Chapter 1. Introduction. My name doesn't matter. My mission does. The impact of pornography on our society is profound and pervasive, yet it remains one of the least discussed topics. My name, while perhaps unimportant, is secondary to the mission I have undertaken: to expose the hidden dangers of porn and raise awareness about its devastating effects on individuals and society. This book, Porn Will Kill Your Heart, is a culmination of my research, observations, and deep concern for the future of our collective well-being, the genesis of my mission. Like many, I once believed that pornography was a harmless indulgence, a private matter with little to no impact on my life or the lives of others. However, as I delved deeper into the subject, I uncovered a dark underbelly that is seldom acknowledged. The journey that led me to write this book began with a simple question: what are the true consequences of porn consumption? My research revealed that pornography is not just a benign form of entertainment. It is a powerful force that can reshape the brain, alter behavior, and erode the very fabric of our society. This realization transformed my curiosity into a passionate mission to educate others about the perils of porn addiction. The impact on the brain. Pornography hijacks the brain's natural reward system. Just as substances like cocaine or methamphetamine flood the brain with dopamine, porn induces a similar surge. Over time, this constant stimulation leads to a condition known as desensitization, where the brain requires more intense stimuli to achieve the same level of pleasure. This can result in a vicious cycle of escalating consumption, often leading individuals down a path from softcore to increasingly extreme content. Neuroscientific studies have shown that the brains of individuals addicted to porn exhibit changes similar to those observed in drug addicts. The prefrontal cortex, responsible for decision-making and impulse control, becomes impaired, making it harder for individuals to resist cravings and make rational decisions. This not only affects personal behavior, but can also have far-reaching consequences on mental health, leading to conditions such as anxiety, depression, and obsessive-compulsive disorder. For a deeper understanding of the neurological impact of pornography, I recommend reading Gary Wilson's Your Brain on Porn and the extensive research available on websites like Fight the New Drug and Your Brain Rebalanced. Psychological effects. The psychological toll of pornography is equally alarming. As individuals become more dependent on porn for sexual gratification, they often experience a range of mental health issues. These can include low self-esteem, feelings of shame and guilt, and an overall decrease in life satisfaction. The fantasy world created by porn can warp an individual's perception of reality, leading to unrealistic expectations and dissatisfaction with real-life relationships. Pornography also fosters a sense of isolation. Many users report feeling disconnected from their partners, friends, and family as they retreat into a solitary world of sexual fantasy. This isolation can exacerbate feelings of loneliness and depression, creating a feedback loop that drives further consumption. Societal impact. On a broader scale, the societal impact of pornography is deeply troubling. Pornography consumption has been linked to the rise of harmful behaviors, including sexual violence and exploitation. High-profile cases, such as the confessions of serial killer Ted Bundy, who blamed his crimes on an escalating addiction to violent porn, highlight the potential for pornography to inspire real-world violence. Furthermore, the porn industry itself is rife with exploitation and abuse. Many performers, particularly those involved in the production of extreme content, are subjected to coercion and violence. The demand for increasingly graphic material perpetuates a cycle of abuse and degradation, which is often hidden from public view. For more on the societal impacts, the movie Sound of Freedom provides a stark portrayal of how the internet and pornography contribute to sex trafficking and the exploitation of minors. Parents and guardians must be vigilant in protecting their children from the pervasive influence of online pornography. Resources like Protect Young Eyes offer valuable guidance on safeguarding children from harmful online content. A call to action. This book is not just an exposition of the dangers of pornography. It is a call to action. We must recognize the extensive harm caused by porn addiction and take steps to mitigate its impact. This involves education, open conversations, and the implementation of protective measures for our children and society at large. By raising awareness and providing support to those affected, we can begin to heal the damage caused by pornography and create a healthier, more respectful society. It is my hope that this book will serve as a catalyst for change, inspiring individuals to take a stand against the pervasive influence of porn and reclaim their lives. Personal motivation. Why I decided to write this book. My journey towards writing this book began with a profound and personal realization. The hidden dangers of pornography are far more insidious and far-reaching than most of us ever imagined. Like many, I was once under the impression that porn was a harmless private indulgence. However, as I began to see its devastating effects on people close to me and within society at large, I knew that this issue needed to be brought into the light. The first spark of motivation came from witnessing the struggles of friends and loved ones ensnared by porn addiction. I saw how it eroded their self-esteem, disrupted their relationships, and led to a cycle of shame and isolation. These were intelligent, compassionate individuals who became trapped in a web of compulsive behavior that they could not escape from. Their pain was real, and their cries for help often went unanswered because of the stigma and silence surrounding the issue. What truly galvanized my resolve was learning about the broader societal impact of pornography. I was shocked to discover the direct links between porn consumption and the rise in sexual violence, human trafficking, and the exploitation of minors. The confessions of notorious criminals like Ted Bundy, who attributed their heinous actions to a twisted addiction to violent pornography, underscored the urgency of addressing this epidemic. Bundy's chilling words, spoken just hours before his execution, serve as a grim reminder of how deeply porn can distort the human mind and drive individuals to unspeakable acts. As a parent, the realization that our children are growing up in a digital age where explicit content is just a click away filled me with dread. The internet, while a powerful tool for education and connection, also harbors dark corners that can easily corrupt young minds. I became determined to equip parents with the knowledge and resources to protect their children from this pervasive threat. My academic background and passion for research fueled my determination to dig deeper. I delved into scientific studies, spoke with mental health professionals, and listened to countless stories from individuals who had fought and overcome porn addiction. The evidence was clear. Porn is not a trivial matter. It is a public health crisis that demands our attention. But beyond the statistics and horror stories, my motivation is driven by a simple, profound belief. Every person deserves to live a life free from the chains of addiction. We all deserve healthy relationships, fulfilling lives, and the ability to see ourselves and others through a lens of respect and dignity. Pornography strips away these basic human rights, reducing people to objects and eroding the moral fabric of our society. Writing this book is my way of standing up against an industry that profits from pain and exploitation. It is my way of giving a voice to the countless victims who suffer in silence. It is a call to action for all of us to open our eyes, speak out, and take steps to heal our communities. I decided to write, "Porn Will Kill Your Heart," because I believe in the power of knowledge and awareness to drive change. By shedding light on the true impact of porn, I hope to inspire a movement towards a healthier, more compassionate world. This book is not just about exposing the dangers of pornography. It is about reclaiming our humanity and building a future where everyone can thrive. This mission is bigger than any one person. It is a collective effort to protect our minds, our relationships, and our children. Together, we can break the silence, challenge the status quo, and create a world where love and respect triumph over exploitation and addiction. Overview. Welcome to Porn Will Kill Your Heart. This book is not just another piece of literature, it is a lifeline, a beacon of hope, and a call to action. We live in an era where pornography has become ubiquitous, infiltrating our lives in ways we might not even realize. Yet, despite its prevalence, the conversation about its impacts remains shrouded in taboo and misunderstanding. This book aims to break that silence. Why this book matters. Pornography is often dismissed as a harmless personal choice, a private indulgence that doesn't affect anyone else. But the reality is far more complex and troubling. Pornography is a powerful force that can and does shape our brains, behaviors, and societies. It is an addiction that can be just as destructive as any substance abuse, with ripple effects that extend far beyond the individual. In this book, we will journey together through the scientific, psychological, physiological, and societal impacts of pornography. We will uncover how it rewires the brain, how it influences our mental health, and how it can devastate relationships. We will explore its role in fostering harmful behaviors and its contribution to some of the most heinous crimes. But this is not just a book of doom and gloom. It is also a guide to recovery and resilience. We will share stories of those who have overcome porn addiction, providing hope and practical steps for those looking to break free. We will offer resources for parents, partners, and individuals to protect themselves and their loved ones. What to expect. This book is divided into 10 chapters, each focusing on a different aspect of pornography's impact. Here's a brief overview of what you can expect. 1. Introduction. Understand the mission behind this book and the personal motivation driving this urgent call to action. 2. The science behind porn addiction. Discover how pornography affects the brain, comparing its impact to substances like drugs and alcohol. 3. Psychological effects. Explore the mental health issues linked to porn addiction, including anxiety, depression, and obsessive-compulsive disorder. 4. Physiological effects. Learn about the physical toll of porn addiction, from erectile dysfunction to the impact on sexual health and relationships. 5. Societal impact. Examine the broader societal consequences, including the links between porn consumption and sexual violence, human trafficking, and the creation of sexual predators. 6. Moral and ethical concerns. Discuss the ethical implications of pornography, including its anti-religious and anti-moral undertones. 7. Real-life consequences. Read real-life case studies, including high-profile confessions like that of Ted Bundy, to understand the severe impacts of porn addiction. 8. The hidden dangers of the Internet. Delve into the dark side of the Internet, where extreme and illegal content proliferates, posing significant risks to young and vulnerable users. 9. Overcoming porn addiction. Get practical advice on breaking free from porn addiction, including steps to recovery and the importance of support systems. 10. Conclusion. Reflect on the key points discussed and the path forward, with a call to action for readers to join the fight against the pervasive influence of porn, relating to you, the reader. We know that this topic can be uncomfortable and even distressing, but we also know that you are here because you care about yourself, your loved ones, and the society we live in. Whether you are struggling with porn addiction yourself, worried about someone you love, or simply want to be informed, this book is for you. Our approach is rooted in empathy and understanding. We recognize that porn addiction is not a sign of weakness or moral failing. It is a complex issue that can affect anyone, regardless of background or beliefs. Our goal is to provide you with the knowledge and tools you need to make informed decisions and take positive action. We believe in the power of community and conversation. By bringing this issue into the open, we can begin to dismantle the stigma and support each other in creating healthier, more fulfilling lives. A journey of hope. Ultimately, Porn Will Kill Your Heart is a book about hope. It is about recognizing the problem and empowering ourselves to address it. It is about protecting our minds, our relationships, and our future. It is about standing up against an industry that profits from exploitation and choosing a path of compassion and respect. We invite you to join us on this journey. Let's explore the truth, confront the challenges, and work together to build a world where love and humanity triumph over addiction and degradation. Thank you for picking up this book. Your willingness to engage with this topic is the first step toward change. Together, we can make a difference. Chapter 2: The Science Behind Porn Addiction. Brain Chemistry: How Porn Affects the Brain. Understanding how pornography affects the brain is crucial to grasping why it can be so addictive and damaging. At the heart of this process is dopamine, a neurotransmitter that plays a significant role in how we experience pleasure and reward. The role of dopamine. Dopamine is often referred to as the feel-good neurotransmitter. It is released in the brain in response to rewarding experiences, such as eating delicious food, exercising, or engaging in social interactions. This release of dopamine reinforces behaviors that are essential for survival and well-being, encouraging us to repeat them. When an individual consumes pornography, their brain releases a surge of dopamine, creating a powerful sense of pleasure and reward. This response is similar to what occurs with other addictive behaviors, such as drug use or gambling. The problem arises when the brain begins to rely on this artificial stimulation to achieve feelings of pleasure, leading to addiction. The addiction pathway. The brain's reward system is designed to promote survival by encouraging behaviors that lead to beneficial outcomes. However, pornography hijacks this system by providing an intense and immediate reward without the effort or risk associated with natural rewards. This artificial stimulation can lead to several harmful changes in the brain. 1. Desensitization. Over time, the brain becomes less sensitive to dopamine. As a result, the individual requires increasingly intense and novel stimuli to achieve the same level of pleasure. This desensitization can lead to the consumption of more extreme and graphic pornographic content. 2. Hypofrontality. Chronic consumption of pornography can impair the functioning of the prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain responsible for decision-making, impulse control, and emotional regulation. This condition, known as hypofrontality, makes it difficult for individuals to resist cravings and exercise self-control. 3. Delta Phos B. Accumulation. Delta Phos B is a protein that accumulates in the brain in response to repeated exposure to rewarding stimuli. It plays a crucial role in reinforcing addictive behaviors. As delta Phos B levels increase, the brain becomes more sensitized to the cues associated with pornography, making it harder to break the cycle of addiction. 4. Compulsive behavior. The changes in the brain's reward system and prefrontal cortex lead to compulsive behavior. Individuals find themselves repeatedly seeking out pornography despite negative consequences, such as damaged relationships, decreased productivity, and mental health issues. The cycle of addiction. The cycle of porn addiction typically follows these stages. 1. Exposure. Initial exposure to pornography, often during adolescence when the brain is highly susceptible to addiction. 2. Escalation. Increased consumption of pornography, seeking out more novel and extreme content to achieve the same level of arousal. 3. Desensitization. Diminished response to dopamine, leading to a lack of pleasure from previously enjoyable activities and the need for more intense stimuli. 4. Addiction. Compulsive use of pornography despite harmful consequences, characterized by changes in brain chemistry and behavior. Scientific studies and evidence. Numerous studies have documented the impact of pornography on the brain. For instance, a study conducted by Dr. Valerie Voon at the University of Cambridge found that the brains of individuals addicted to pornography showed similar patterns of activity to those addicted to drugs. Functional MRI scans revealed heightened activity in the brain's reward centers when exposed to pornographic material, underscoring the addictive nature of porn. Another study by Dr. Simone Kuhn and Dr. Jürgen Gallina found that frequent porn users had less gray matter in the striatum, a region of the brain associated with reward processing and motivation. This structural change is indicative of the long-term impact of excessive porn consumption on brain health. For further reading, websites like Your Brain on Porn and Fight the New Drug offer extensive resources and research on the neurological effects of porn addiction. Conclusion: the impact of pornography on the brain is profound and far-reaching. By hijacking the brain's natural reward system, porn creates a powerful and often inescapable cycle of addiction. Understanding these neurological mechanisms is the first step in recognizing the dangers of porn consumption and finding ways to combat its addictive grip. In the next section, we will delve into the psychological effects of pornography, exploring how it affects mental health and behavior. This comprehensive approach will provide a clearer picture of why pornography is not just a personal choice, but a significant public health concern. Comparison to substance abuse, comparing the effects of porn on the brain to drugs like steroids and their impact on testosterone. When we think of addiction, substances like drugs and alcohol typically come to mind. However, behavioral addictions, such as those involving pornography, can be just as powerful and damaging. To understand the impact of porn addiction, it's helpful to draw parallels with substance abuse, particularly with drugs like steroids and their effects on the body. The mechanisms of addiction. Both substance abuse and pornography addiction engage the brain's reward system, primarily through the release of dopamine. This neurotransmitter is central to experiencing pleasure and reinforcing behaviors. While the substances involved may differ, the underlying mechanisms of addiction share striking similarities. 1. Dopamine surge. Just as taking a drug floods the brain with dopamine, viewing pornography triggers a similar surge. This dopamine release creates feelings of pleasure and reinforces the behavior, encouraging repeated use. Over time, the brain begins to rely on this artificial stimulation to achieve satisfaction. 2. Desensitization. With continuous exposure to either drugs or pornography, the brain's receptors become less sensitive to dopamine. This desensitization requires users to seek out more intense stimuli to achieve the same level of pleasure. In the case of pornography, this often leads to escalating consumption of increasingly extreme content. 3. Tolerance. As with substance abuse, individuals can develop a tolerance to pornography. This means that over time, the same material no longer provides the same level of arousal or satisfaction, pushing users to seek out more graphic and novel content to meet their needs. Impact on the brain. The effects of both porn addiction and drug abuse on the brain are profound and long-lasting. For example, prolonged use of steroids can disrupt the body's natural production of testosterone, leading to a host of physical and psychological issues. Similarly, chronic consumption of pornography can disrupt the brain's natural reward system, leading to significant changes in behavior and mental health. 1. Hypofrontality. This condition, where the prefrontal cortex becomes impaired, is common in both drug addicts and those addicted to pornography. The prefrontal cortex is responsible for decision-making, impulse control, and emotional regulation. When impaired, it makes it harder for individuals to resist cravings and maintain control over their behaviors. 2. Neuroplasticity. The brain's ability to adapt and reorganize itself, known as neuroplasticity, is hijacked by both substances and behaviors that induce addiction. In the case of porn, repeated exposure rewires the brain to prioritize these artificial rewards over natural, healthy stimuli. 3. Delta-Phos B accumulation. This protein plays a critical role in the brain's response to addictive substances and behaviors. It accumulates with repeated exposure to rewarding stimuli, strengthening the neural pathways associated with addiction. This accumulation is seen in both drug addiction and porn addiction, highlighting their shared biological foundation. Physiological parallels. Steroids and pornography. Steroids, while often used to enhance physical performance, can wreak havoc on the body's endocrine system. They can suppress the body's natural production of hormones, leading to conditions such as hypogonadism, where the body produces insufficient levels of testosterone. This can result in symptoms like decreased libido, erectile dysfunction, and mood swings. Similarly, pornography can have a profound impact on sexual health and behavior. Chronic porn consumption can lead to issues like erectile dysfunction, decreased sexual satisfaction, and reduced interest in real-life sexual experiences. These effects mirror the physiological disruptions caused by steroid abuse, where artificial enhancement leads to natural dysfunction. The vicious cycle. Both steroid abuse and porn addiction can create a vicious cycle that is difficult to break. Users of steroids may find themselves trapped in a cycle of dependency, constantly needing higher doses to achieve the desired effects, while suffering from withdrawal symptoms and long-term health consequences. Similarly, those addicted to porn may find themselves continually seeking out more extreme content, unable to achieve satisfaction from previous levels of consumption, and struggling with the resulting mental and physical health issues. Conclusion. By comparing porn addiction to substance abuse, particularly steroids, we gain a clearer understanding of its serious and far-reaching effects. Both forms of addiction alter the brain's reward system, create dependency, and lead to significant physiological and psychological harm. Recognizing these parallels underscores the need for awareness, intervention, and support for those struggling with porn addiction. As we continue our exploration, the next section will delve into the psychological effects of pornography, shedding light on how it influences mental health and behavior. This comprehensive approach will help us appreciate the full scope of porn's impact and the importance of addressing it. Scientific studies. Detailing the neurological changes caused by porn addiction. Understanding the profound impact of pornography on the brain requires delving into the scientific studies that have meticulously documented these changes. Over the past decade, researchers have conducted numerous studies that highlight the similarities between porn addiction and other forms of addiction, such as drugs and alcohol. These studies provide compelling evidence of how chronic exposure to pornographic material can alter brain structure and function. Study 1. Dr. Valerie Voon's research at the University of Cambridge. One of the most significant studies in this field was conducted by Dr. Valerie Voon and her team at the University of Cambridge. Dr. Voon's research focused on the neural correlates of compulsive sexual behavior, often likened to porn addiction. Using functional MRI, fMRI scans, her team observed the brain activity of individuals with compulsive sexual behavior and compared it to healthy controls. The findings revealed that individuals with porn addiction showed heightened activity in the brain's reward centers, specifically the ventral striatum, when exposed to pornographic material. This region is known to be involved in processing rewards and is similarly activated in drug addicts when they are shown drug-related cues. Dr. Voon's study concluded that the neural mechanisms underlying porn addiction are akin to those seen in substance addiction, underscoring the addictive potential of pornography. Study 2. Dr. Simone Kuhn and Dr. Jürgen Gallinat's research. In another groundbreaking study, Dr. Simone Kuhn and Dr. Jürgen Gallinat from the Max Planck Institute for Human Development and the Charité University Medicine in Berlin examined the impact of pornography on brain structure. Their research involved analyzing the brains of frequent porn users using MRI scans. The study found that frequent porn users had less gray matter volume in the right caudate nucleus, a part of the brain associated with reward processing and motivation. Additionally, The study revealed a negative correlation between the amount of pornography consumed and the brain's gray matter volume in this region. This reduction in gray matter suggests that chronic exposure to pornography can lead to structural brain changes, potentially diminishing the brain's ability to process rewards and exert control over impulses. Study 3. Dr. Donald L. Hilton Jr.'s review on pornography and the brain. Dr. Donald L. Hilton Jr., a neurosurgeon and clinical associate professor at the University of Texas, conducted an extensive review of existing literature on the effects of pornography on the brain. His review, published in the journal Surgical Neurology International, synthesized findings from various studies to provide a comprehensive overview of how pornography impacts brain function. Dr. Hilton's review highlighted several key points. Neuroplasticity and rewiring. Chronic porn use can lead to significant neuroplastic changes, rewiring the brain's reward pathways and creating a dependency on artificial stimuli. Impaired prefrontal cortex function. The review discussed how prolonged exposure to pornography can impair the prefrontal cortex, leading to issues with decision-making, impulse control, and emotional regulation. Delta-phos-B accumulation. Similar to findings in drug addiction, Dr. Hilton's review noted the role of delta-phos-B accumulation in reinforcing addictive behaviors and strengthening neural pathways associated with porn use. Study 4. Dr. Mateusz Gola's research on compulsive sexual behavior. Dr. Mateusz Gola, a prominent researcher in the field of behavioral addictions, conducted a study focusing on the neural responses of individuals with compulsive sexual behavior, often driven by pornography addiction. His research, published in the journal PLOS One, used fMRI to observe the brain activity of participants exposed to sexual stimuli. The study found that individuals with compulsive sexual behavior exhibited increased activation in the amygdala and the anterior cingulate cortex, regions of the brain involved in emotion regulation and reward anticipation. These heightened responses mirrored those seen in individuals addicted to substances, reinforcing the notion that porn addiction shares common neural pathways with other forms of addiction. Study 5. Cambridge University's study on pornography and decision-making. Another notable study from Cambridge University examined how pornographic material affects decision-making processes. Researchers used a series of cognitive tasks and fMRI scans to assess the impact of pornography on the brain's executive functions. The findings indicated that exposure to pornographic material impaired the participants' ability to make decisions and exert self-control. This was evidenced by reduced activity in the prefrontal cortex, the area responsible for rational thought and impulse control. The study concluded that pornography can significantly hinder cognitive functions, making it harder for individuals to regulate their behavior and make sound decisions. Conclusion. These studies collectively highlight the profound impact of pornography on the brain. From structural changes and impaired cognitive functions to the activation of neural pathways similar to those seen in drug addiction, the evidence is clear. Pornography is not a harmless pastime. It has the potential to cause significant neurological harm, leading to addiction and a host of related issues. As we continue our exploration, the next section will delve into the psychological effects of pornography, providing further insight into how it influences mental health and behavior. Understanding these impacts is crucial for addressing the widespread issue of porn addiction and finding effective solutions. Chapter 3. Psychological Effects, Mental Health Issues. The correlation between porn addiction and mental illnesses. The psychological effects of pornography are as significant and devastating as the neurological changes it induces. As we delve into this topic, it's crucial to understand how porn addiction intertwines with various mental health issues, including obsessive-compulsive disorder, OCD, anxiety, depression, and low self-esteem. These conditions not only exacerbate the addictive behaviors, but also create a vicious cycle that makes recovery challenging. Obsessive-compulsive disorder, OCD. Porn addiction and OCD share common features, particularly in the realm of compulsive behavior. OCD is characterized by intrusive thoughts, obsessions, and repetitive behaviors, compulsions, that an individual feels compelled to perform to alleviate anxiety. Similarly, porn addiction involves compulsive viewing habits, often driven by an overwhelming urge to seek out pornographic material. Studies have shown that individuals with OCD may be more susceptible to developing porn addiction due to their propensity for repetitive behaviors and ritualistic tendencies. The constant need to consume porn can become a compulsion, where the individual feels trapped in a cycle of seeking temporary relief from anxiety through viewing pornography, only to have the anxiety return, often with greater intensity. Anxiety. Anxiety disorders are prevalent among those struggling with porn addiction. The act of consuming pornography can temporarily alleviate feelings of anxiety, providing a short-lived sense of relief. However, this relief is fleeting and often followed by increased anxiety and guilt. Over time, the brain begins to rely on this maladaptive coping mechanism, reinforcing the cycle of addiction. Furthermore, the secretive nature of porn consumption can lead to heightened anxiety. Individuals may fear being discovered, worry about the impact on their relationships, and feel ashamed of their behavior. This constant state of fear and worry can significantly impact daily functioning and overall well-being. Depression. Depression is another common mental health issue linked to porn addiction. The relationship between the two is complex and bidirectional. On one hand, individuals may turn to pornography as a way to escape the emotional pain and numbness associated with depression. On the other hand, chronic porn consumption can exacerbate feelings of depression due to the isolation, guilt, and shame it often entails. Research indicates that the overuse of pornography can lead to a decrease in natural dopamine production, resulting in anhedonia, a reduced ability to experience pleasure from previously enjoyable activities. This dopamine deficit can deepen depressive symptoms, making it harder for individuals to find joy in everyday life. Low self-esteem. Low self-esteem is both a cause and consequence of porn addiction. Many individuals with low self-esteem turn to pornography as a means of validation and escape. The fantasy world of porn can provide a temporary boost to their ego and a sense of control that they lack in real life. However, this artificial enhancement often leads to deeper self-worth issues. Regular consumption of pornography can distort an individual's perception of reality, leading to unrealistic expectations about sex and relationships. When these expectations are not met in real life, it can result in feelings of inadequacy and low self-worth. Additionally, the knowledge that one is engaging in a behavior they feel is morally or socially unacceptable can further erode self-esteem. The vicious cycle. The interplay between porn addiction and mental health issues creates a vicious cycle that is difficult to break. Here's how it often unfolds. 1. Initial use. An individual may initially turn to pornography as a means of coping with stress, anxiety, or low self-esteem. 2. Temporary relief. The act of consuming porn provides temporary relief from these negative emotions, reinforcing the behavior. 3. Increased consumption. Over time, the individual needs to consume more porn to achieve the same level of relief, leading to compulsive use. 4. Mental health decline. The ongoing use of pornography exacerbates mental health issues such as anxiety, depression, and low self-esteem. 5. Deepened addiction. As mental health deteriorates, the individual becomes more reliant on pornography to cope, further entrenching the addiction. Scientific evidence. Several studies have documented the correlation between porn addiction and mental health issues. For instance, a study published in the journal Addictive Behaviors found that individuals with problematic pornography use reported higher levels of anxiety and depression compared to those without such issues. Another study in Cyberpsychology, Behavior, and Social Networking highlighted that problematic porn use was associated with lower self-esteem and increased feelings of loneliness. A comprehensive review in Frontiers in Psychology also underscored the bidirectional relationship between porn addiction and mental health disorders, emphasizing the need for integrated treatment approaches that address both the addiction and the underlying mental health conditions. Conclusion: porn addiction is not just a matter of personal choice or moral failing. It is a significant mental health concern with far-reaching implications. The correlation between porn addiction and mental illnesses, such as OCD, anxiety, depression, and low self-esteem, highlights the urgent need for awareness, intervention, and support. Understanding these psychological effects is crucial for developing effective treatment strategies that address the root causes of addiction and promote long-term recovery. In the next section, we will explore the physiological effects of pornography, shedding light on how it impacts physical health and relationships. Behavioral changes. Exploring how porn addiction can lead to obsessive behavior and changes in personality. Porn addiction does more than alter brain chemistry and impact mental health. It can also lead to significant changes in behavior and personality. These behavioral changes often manifest as obsessive behaviors, shifts in personality traits, and disruptions in daily functioning. Understanding these changes is crucial for recognizing the full scope of porn addiction's impact on individuals. Obsessive behaviors. One of the hallmark features of porn addiction is the development of obsessive behaviors. These behaviors are characterized by a persistent and uncontrollable urge to engage in viewing pornographic material, often at the expense of other activities and responsibilities. The compulsive nature of these behaviors mirrors the patterns seen in other types of addiction. 1. Time consumption. Individuals addicted to pornography often spend an excessive amount of time seeking out and consuming pornographic content. This can lead to neglect of personal responsibilities, work, and social relationships. The obsession with finding new and more stimulating content can dominate their daily lives. 2. Ritualistic patterns. Similar to OCD, porn addiction can lead to ritualistic behaviors. Individuals may develop specific routines around their porn consumption, such as watching at certain times of the day or in particular settings. These rituals can become deeply ingrained and difficult to break. 3. Escalation. As with substance addiction, individuals may find that they need to consume increasingly extreme or novel pornographic content to achieve the same level of arousal. This escalation can lead to viewing material that is more graphic, violent, or degrading, further entrenching the addiction. 4. Preoccupation. A person with porn addiction may become preoccupied with thoughts about pornography, even when they are not actively consuming it. This constant mental focus on porn can interfere with their ability to concentrate on other tasks and engage fully in daily activities. Obsessive behaviors. One of the hallmark features of porn addiction is the development of obsessive behaviors. These behaviors are characterized by a persistent and uncontrollable urge to engage in viewing pornographic material, often at the expense of other activities and responsibilities. The compulsive nature of these behaviors mirrors the patterns seen in other types of addiction. 1. Time consumption. Individuals addicted to pornography often spend an excessive amount of time seeking out and consuming pornographic content. This can lead to neglect of personal responsibilities, work, and social relationships. The obsession with finding new and more stimulating content can dominate their daily lives. 2. Ritualistic patterns. Similar to OCD, porn addiction can lead to ritualistic behaviors. Individuals may develop specific routines around their porn consumption, such as watching at certain times of the day or in particular settings. These rituals can become deeply ingrained and difficult to break. 3. Escalation. As with substance addiction, individuals may find that they need to consume increasingly extreme or novel pornographic content to achieve the same level of arousal. This escalation can lead to viewing material that is more graphic, violent, or degrading, further entrenching the addiction. 4. Preoccupation. A person with porn addiction may become preoccupied with thoughts about pornography, even when they are not actively consuming it. This constant mental focus on porn can interfere with their ability to concentrate on other tasks and engage fully in daily activities. Changes in personality. The behavioral changes associated with porn addiction often extend to shifts in personality traits. These changes can be subtle at first, but may become more pronounced over time as the addiction deepens. 1. Isolation. Many individuals addicted to porn begin to isolate themselves from friends and family. The secretive nature of their behavior can lead to withdrawal from social interactions and a preference for solitude. This isolation can exacerbate feelings of loneliness and depression. 2. Irritability and mood swings. Porn addiction can lead to significant mood swings and irritability. The highs associated with consuming pornographic content are often followed by lows of guilt, shame, and frustration. These emotional fluctuations can strain relationships and affect overall mood stability. 3. Decreased empathy. Chronic exposure to pornography, especially content that objectifies and dehumanizes individuals, can reduce a person's capacity for empathy. They may begin to view others, particularly sexual partners, more as objects for gratification rather than individuals with their own feelings and needs. 4. Risk-taking behavior. The pursuit of novel and more extreme pornographic content can lead individuals to take greater risks, such as accessing illegal or morally questionable material. This risk-taking behavior can spill over into other areas of their lives, leading to unsafe or unethical decisions. 5. Impaired relationships. The changes in personality and behavior can significantly impair relationships. Partners may feel neglected, betrayed, or devalued. The addiction can lead to a decrease in intimacy and communication, causing strain and potential breakups or divorce. Real-life consequences. The obsessive behaviors and personality changes associated with porn addiction can have far-reaching consequences. 1. Academic and career impact. Students and professionals addicted to porn may find their performance suffering due to lack of focus, missed deadlines, and decreased productivity. The obsession with pornography can interfere with academic achievements and career advancement. 2. Legal issues. Escalating consumption of pornography can sometimes lead individuals to cross legal boundaries, such as accessing illegal content. This behavior can result in legal repercussions and a criminal record. 3. Health problems. The physical toll of excessive porn consumption includes sleep deprivation, poor diet, and neglect of personal health. The compulsive behavior can also lead to sexual dysfunction, such as erectile dysfunction, which further compounds psychological distress. 4. Financial strain. Some individuals may spend significant amounts of money on pornography, including subscriptions to websites, purchasing explicit content, or even engaging in live interactions. This financial strain can lead to debt and financial instability. Conclusion. The behavioral changes associated with porn addiction extend far beyond the act of viewing explicit material. They encompass a range of obsessive behaviors and personality shifts that can disrupt every aspect of an individual's life. Recognizing these changes is crucial for understanding the depth of the addiction and the comprehensive support needed for recovery. As we continue, the next section will explore the physiological effects of pornography, shedding light on how it impacts physical health and sexual relationships. This holistic view will provide a clearer picture of the pervasive impact of porn addiction, false fantasies, and unrealistic expectations. How porn creates unrealistic expectations about sex and relationships. Pornography does not just serve as a source of temporary pleasure. It profoundly impacts the way individuals perceive sex and relationships. One of the most insidious effects of pornography is its ability to create false fantasies and unrealistic expectations, which can have damaging repercussions on both personal and societal levels. The creation of false fantasies. Pornography is a highly stylized and exaggerated portrayal of sex, designed to maximize visual and emotional stimulation. These portrayals often involve scenarios that are far removed from real-life sexual experiences and relationships. 1. Hyperreality. Porn often depicts sex in a hyper-realistic manner, with actors who possess idealized and often unattainable physical attributes. The scenarios are crafted to be more exciting and sensational than what most people will experience, creating a skewed vision of what sex should look like. 2. Unrealistic performance. Pornography typically portrays sexual performance in an exaggerated manner, with actors engaging in prolonged, varied, and intense sexual activities. This can lead individuals to believe that such performances are the norm, creating pressure to replicate these acts in real life. 3. Scripted scenarios. The situations depicted in porn are scripted and rehearsed, often involving elements of fantasy and role-play that are not representative of typical sexual encounters. This can foster unrealistic fantasies about how sex should occur, including expectations about spontaneity and the roles each partner should play, unrealistic expectations about physical appearance. Pornography often features actors who have been selected for their exceptional physical attributes, which are further enhanced through makeup, lighting, and sometimes even digital editing. This creates an unrealistic standard of beauty and sexual appeal. 1. Body image issues. Consumers of pornography may develop insecurities about their own bodies, feeling that they do not measure up to the idealized images they see on screen. This can lead to body dysmorphia and other mental health issues related to self-esteem and body image. 2. Comparative discontent. Constant exposure to idealized bodies can cause individuals to feel dissatisfied with their partner's physical appearance. This dissatisfaction can erode relationship satisfaction and intimacy. 3. Surgical enhancements. The prevalence of surgically enhanced bodies in pornography can create unrealistic expectations about what is natural or achievable. This can lead individuals to pursue cosmetic surgeries or other drastic measures to meet these unattainable standards. Impact on real-life relationships. The false fantasies and unrealistic expectations fostered by pornography can have detrimental effects on real-life relationships. These impacts can manifest in various ways, including decreased satisfaction, increased conflict, and emotional disconnect. 1. Erosion of intimacy. When individuals expect their partners to mirror the behaviors and appearances seen in porn, genuine intimacy can suffer. Real-life sexual experiences may seem dull or disappointing by comparison, leading to a decrease in sexual and emotional closeness. 2. Performance pressure. The unrealistic depictions of sexual prowess and stamina in porn can create significant performance anxiety. Individuals may feel inadequate or fear that they cannot satisfy their partners, which can lead to avoidance of sexual activity and a decline in relationship satisfaction. 3. Infidelity and secrecy. The pursuit of fantasies inspired by porn can lead some individuals to seek fulfillment outside their primary relationships. This can result in infidelity and a breakdown of trust. Additionally, the secretive nature of porn consumption can create barriers to open and honest communication within relationships. 4. Reduced empathy and connection. The dehumanizing aspects of porn can reduce empathy and emotional connection between partners. When one partner views the other primarily as an object of sexual gratification, it can undermine the foundation of mutual respect and understanding that is crucial for a healthy relationship. Conclusion. Pornography's influence extends far beyond the screen, shaping perceptions and expectations in ways that can profoundly impact real-life sex and relationships. By creating false fantasies and unrealistic standards, porn can distort our understanding of intimacy, erode relationship satisfaction, and foster harmful behaviors. Recognizing these impacts is the first step toward mitigating them. Education, open communication, and realistic portrayals of sex and relationships are crucial in helping individuals and couples build healthy, fulfilling connections. As we continue our exploration, the next section will delve into the societal impact of pornography, examining how it influences behaviors and norms on a broader scale. Chapter 4: Physiological Effects, Erectile Dysfunction and Sexual Health. How porn can lead to erectile dysfunction and other sexual health issues. The physiological effects of pornography are profound and often detrimental, particularly when it comes to sexual health. One of the most concerning issues associated with chronic porn consumption is erectile dysfunction, ED. Additionally, pornography can lead to other sexual health problems, affecting both individuals and their relationships. Understanding erectile dysfunction, ED. Erectile dysfunction is the inability to achieve or maintain an erection sufficient for satisfactory sexual performance. Traditionally, ED has been linked to physical conditions such as cardiovascular disease, diabetes, and hormonal imbalances. However, there is growing evidence that psychological and behavioral factors, including pornography consumption, play a significant role in the onset of ED, especially in younger men. The link between pornography and ED. Several mechanisms explain how pornography can lead to erectile dysfunction. 1. Desensitization. Frequent exposure to high-intensity sexual stimuli in pornography can desensitize the brain's reward system. Over time, the brain requires increasingly intense and novel stimuli to achieve the same level of arousal. This desensitization can make it difficult for individuals to become aroused by real-life sexual experiences, which are often less visually and emotionally stimulating than pornographic content. 2. Psychological impact. Porn-induced ED is often rooted in psychological factors. The anxiety and pressure to perform in real-life sexual situations, compounded by unrealistic expectations set by pornography, can lead to performance anxiety and erectile dysfunction. The fear of not being able to perform can create a self-fulfilling prophecy, where anxiety inhibits arousal and erection. 3. Conditioned arousal. Pornography can condition the brain to respond sexually only to specific types of stimuli. This phenomenon, known as sexual conditioning, means that individuals may struggle to achieve or maintain an erection without the particular visual or situational cues provided by porn. This can lead to difficulties in achieving arousal in the context of real-life sexual encounters. 4. Neurochemical changes. Chronic porn consumption can alter the brain's neurochemical balance. The constant release of dopamine during porn viewing can lead to a downregulation of dopamine receptors, making it harder for individuals to experience pleasure and arousal. This neurochemical change can contribute to ED and a decreased interest in sex. Other sexual health issues. Beyond erectile dysfunction, pornography can contribute to a range of other sexual health problems. 1. Reduced sexual satisfaction. Individuals who frequently consume pornography may find that their satisfaction with real-life sex diminishes. The exaggerated and often unrealistic depictions of sex in porn can make normal sexual activities seem less exciting or fulfilling, leading to dissatisfaction and frustration. 2. Delayed ejaculation. Some individuals may develop delayed ejaculation as a result of pornography consumption. This condition involves a prolonged time to reach orgasm and can be caused by the desensitization effects of porn, where real-life stimuli are not sufficient to achieve climax. 3. Premature ejaculation. Conversely, other individuals may experience premature ejaculation, where they reach orgasm too quickly. This can be due to the heightened arousal and conditioning to quick sexual gratification often portrayed in pornography. 4. Sexual inhibition. Chronic porn use can lead to sexual inhibition, where individuals feel less motivated or interested in engaging in sexual activities with their partners. This can result in a decline in sexual frequency and intimacy within relationships. 5. Sexual dysfunctions in women. While much of the focus is on men, women can also experience sexual dysfunctions related to pornography consumption. These can include decreased sexual desire, difficulties with arousal, and challenges in achieving orgasm, often due to the psychological and relational impacts of a partner's porn use. Scientific evidence. The correlation between pornography consumption and sexual health issues is supported by various studies. For instance, a study published in the Journal of Sexual Medicine found that young men who frequently consumed pornography were more likely to experience ED compared to those who did not. Another study in behavioral sciences highlighted the role of psychological factors, such as anxiety and unrealistic expectations, in the development of porn-induced ED. Research by Dr. Matthew Chrisman and colleagues, published in Urology, also noted an increase in sexual dysfunction among men under 40, a trend that paralleled the rise in internet pornography use. The study emphasized the need for clinicians to consider pornography consumption as a potential factor when diagnosing and treating sexual health issues. The impact on relationships. The sexual health issues associated with pornography do not only affect individuals, they can have profound impacts on relationships. Couples may experience decreased intimacy, increased conflict, and a sense of disconnection due to the presence of sexual dysfunctions. The emotional toll of dealing with ED, reduced sexual satisfaction, and other issues can strain even the strongest relationships. 1. Communication breakdown. Sexual health problems can lead to communication breakdowns between partners. Individuals may feel embarrassed or ashamed to discuss their issues, leading to misunderstandings and resentment. 2. Emotional distance. The frustration and disappointment associated with sexual dysfunctions can create emotional distance between partners. This can result in a decline in overall relationship satisfaction and an increase in conflict. 3. Trust issues. The secretive nature of pornography consumption and its impact on sexual health can lead to trust issues. Partners may feel betrayed or deceived, further complicating the dynamics of the relationship. Conclusion. The physiological effects of pornography, particularly regarding erectile dysfunction and other sexual health issues, are significant and far-reaching. These issues highlight the need for awareness and open dialogue about the potential harms of chronic porn consumption. By understanding and addressing these effects, individuals and couples can work towards healthier sexual relationships and overall well-being. As we move forward, the next section will examine the broader societal impact of pornography, exploring how it influences behaviors, norms, and public health. This comprehensive approach will provide a clearer picture of the pervasive influence of porn and the importance of addressing its many facets. Impact on physical relationships. How porn affects intimacy and physical relationships with partners. Pornography consumption can have a profound impact on physical relationships, particularly in terms of intimacy and the quality of interactions between partners. The pervasive influence of porn can create unrealistic expectations, foster emotional and physical distance, and undermine the foundations of healthy, intimate relationships. Erosion of intimacy. Intimacy is a cornerstone of a healthy relationship, encompassing emotional closeness, trust, and physical affection. Pornography can erode intimacy in several ways. 1. Emotional distance. Individuals who consume pornography regularly may become emotionally distant from their partners. The private and often secretive nature of porn consumption can create a barrier between partners, leading to a lack of emotional connection. This distance can make it difficult for couples to share their thoughts, feelings, and vulnerabilities, which are essential for maintaining intimacy. 2. Reduced quality of interactions. Pornography can alter the way individuals perceive and engage in physical interactions with their partners. The scripted and exaggerated nature of pornographic scenes can lead to a focus on performance rather than genuine connection. This shift can result in sexual encounters that feel mechanical and devoid of emotional depth, reducing the overall quality of the relationship. 3. Lack of communication. Open communication is critical for healthy relationships, especially regarding sexual needs and desires. Pornography can create unrealistic expectations and fantasies that individuals may be reluctant to discuss with their partners. This lack of communication can lead to misunderstandings and unmet needs, further eroding intimacy. Unrealistic expectations and performance pressure. Pornography often portrays sex in a way that is far removed from real-life experiences. These unrealistic depictions can create significant pressure and unrealistic expectations for both partners in a relationship. 1. Body image and performance. The actors in pornography are often chosen for their physical attributes and abilities, setting an unattainable standard for many viewers. This can lead to body image issues and performance anxiety, as individuals may feel inadequate compared to the exaggerated portrayals they see on screen. This pressure can negatively affect sexual confidence and satisfaction. 2. Expectations of novelty and extremes. Pornographic content frequently features novel and extreme sexual acts that are not typical of most real-life sexual encounters. This can create a belief that such acts are necessary for a fulfilling sex life, leading to dissatisfaction with more conventional forms of intimacy. Partners may feel pressured to engage in activities they are uncomfortable with, which can harm the relationship. 3. Distorted views on consent and communication. Porn rarely depicts the necessary elements of consent and mutual communication in sexual encounters. This omission can lead to misunderstandings about the importance of these aspects in real relationships, resulting in sexual interactions that lack respect and consideration for both partners' boundaries and desires. Decreased sexual satisfaction. The consumption of pornography can significantly impact sexual satisfaction within relationships. The following factors contribute to this decrease. 1. Comparison and discontent. When individuals compare their real-life sexual experiences to the idealized and often exaggerated depictions in pornography, they may feel dissatisfied. This comparison can diminish the pleasure and fulfillment derived from real-life intimacy, leading to decreased sexual satisfaction. 2. Desensitization. As discussed in previous chapters, chronic exposure to pornography can desensitize individuals to normal sexual stimuli. This desensitization can make it challenging to achieve arousal and satisfaction from regular sexual encounters, as the brain becomes conditioned to respond only to the heightened stimuli provided by porn. 3. Sexual dysfunction. Erectile dysfunction, delayed ejaculation, and other sexual dysfunctions associated with porn consumption can further reduce sexual satisfaction. These issues can create stress and frustration for both partners, diminishing the overall quality of the sexual relationship. Impact on trust and relationship stability. Trust is a fundamental component of any healthy relationship. Pornography can undermine trust in several ways, leading to instability and potential relationship breakdowns. 1. Secrecy and deception. Secretive nature of pornography consumption can lead to feelings of betrayal and deception. When one partner hides their porn use, it can create a sense of mistrust and suspicion. This breach of trust can be difficult to repair and may lead to ongoing relationship issues. 2. Infidelity and emotional affairs. Some individuals may seek out real-life encounters to fulfill fantasies inspired by pornography, leading to infidelity and emotional affairs. This behavior can devastate relationships, causing lasting emotional pain and distrust. 3. Conflict and resentment. The emotional and physical distance created by pornography can lead to increased conflict and resentment between partners. Unresolved issues related to porn use can result in arguments and a lack of harmony in the relationship, further destabilizing the partnership. Conclusion. The impact of pornography on physical relationships is profound and multifaceted. It can erode intimacy, create unrealistic expectations, decrease sexual satisfaction, and undermine trust and relationship stability. Recognizing these effects is crucial for individuals and couples to address the issues and work towards healthier, more fulfilling relationships. As we continue our exploration, the next chapter will examine the broader societal impact of pornography, focusing on how it influences behaviors, norms, and public health. This comprehensive approach will help us understand the pervasive influence of porn and the importance of addressing its many facets. Sex trafficking and exploitation, highlighting the connection between porn and sex trafficking. The connection between pornography and sex trafficking is a complex and deeply troubling issue. As we explore this relationship, it becomes clear that pornography not only exploits its performers, but also plays a significant role in fueling the global sex trafficking industry. This chapter aims to highlight these connections through case studies and statistics, emphasizing the urgent need for awareness and action. Understanding the connection. Pornography and sex trafficking are interconnected in several ways. The demand for explicit content drives the exploitation of vulnerable individuals, many of whom are coerced or forced into performing. Additionally, the normalization of extreme and violent content in pornography can desensitize consumers, potentially increasing the demand for trafficked individuals to fulfill these fantasies. 1. Demand and supply. The pornography industry thrives on the continuous demand for new and diverse content. This demand often leads to the exploitation of vulnerable individuals, including those trafficked for the purpose of producing pornographic material. 2. Normalization of violence. Pornography frequently depicts violent and degrading acts, normalizing such behavior and creating a market for more extreme content. This normalization can desensitize viewers, increasing the demand for real-life experiences that mimic these scenarios, often fulfilled through sex trafficking. 3. Coercion and exploitation. Many individuals in the pornography industry are there not by choice but through coercion, deception, or outright force. Traffickers exploit these individuals, often under the guise of legitimate work, only to subject them to abuse and exploitation. Case studies. Several case studies illustrate the grim reality of the connection between pornography and sex trafficking. 1. Case study, Mia's story. Mia, a young woman from Eastern Europe, was promised a lucrative modeling career abroad. Upon arrival, she was stripped of her documents and forced into performing in pornographic films. Threatened with violence and unable to escape, Mia was trapped in a cycle of exploitation. Her story is a stark reminder of how traffickers use the lure of opportunity to exploit and abuse vulnerable individuals. 2. Case study, the Pornhub scandal. In 2020, a significant scandal erupted involving Pornhub, one of the largest pornography websites in the world. Investigations revealed that the site hosted numerous videos depicting non-consensual acts, including those involving minors and trafficked individuals. This case highlighted the pervasive issue of exploitation in the pornography industry and the role of major platforms in perpetuating it. Statistics. Statistics provide a broader view of the scale of the issue. 1. Global scale. According to the International Labor Organization, ILO, there are approximately 4.8 million people trapped in forced sexual exploitation globally. A significant portion of these individuals are trafficked for the purpose of producing pornography. 2. Underage victims. A study by the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, NCMEC, found that reports of online child sexual abuse material have increased exponentially, with many of these images and videos being used in pornography. 3. Economic impact. The global sex trafficking industry generates an estimated $99 billion annually. Pornography plays a crucial role in this industry, both as a product and as a means of marketing and exploiting trafficked individuals. 4. Victim demographics. The Polaris Project, an organization that works to combat human trafficking, reports that the majority of sex trafficking victims are women and girls, often from marginalized communities. These individuals are disproportionately targeted for exploitation in the pornography industry. The role of technology. The advent of the internet and advancements in technology have exacerbated the issue of sex trafficking and exploitation in the pornography industry. Online platforms allow traffickers to market and distribute explicit content with relative anonymity, making it difficult for law enforcement to track and prosecute offenders. 1. Online marketplaces. Websites and social media platforms serve as marketplaces for traffickers to advertise and sell explicit content. These platforms often fail to adequately monitor and regulate the material being posted, allowing illegal content to proliferate. 2. Cryptocurrency and payment systems. The use of cryptocurrency and other anonymous payment systems enables traffickers to conduct transactions without detection. This financial anonymity makes it challenging to trace and disrupt the flow of money within the sex trafficking and pornography industries. Combating sex trafficking and exploitation. Addressing the connection between pornography and sex trafficking requires a comprehensive approach involving education, regulation, and support for victims. 1. Education and awareness. Increasing public awareness about the exploitation inherent in the pornography industry is crucial. Educational campaigns can help potential consumers understand the impact of their actions and reduce demand for exploitative content. 2. Stricter regulations. Governments and international bodies must enforce stricter regulations on the production and distribution of pornography. This includes holding platforms accountable for hosting illegal content and ensuring that all performers are participating consensually. 3. Support for victims. Providing support and resources for victims of sex trafficking is essential. This includes legal assistance, counseling, and rehabilitation programs to help survivors rebuild their lives. 4. Technological solutions. Leveraging technology to combat exploitation is also critical. This includes developing better tools for monitoring online content, tracing financial transactions, and dismantling networks of traffickers. Conclusion. The connection between pornography and sex trafficking is a grave issue that demands urgent attention. By highlighting the ways in which porn consumption can escalate to viewing and perpetuating illegal and harmful content, we can begin to address the broader societal impact of pornography. Through education, regulation, and support for victims, we can work towards a future where exploitation is eradicated and the dignity and rights of all individuals are upheld. Creation of predators. How prolonged exposure to porn can create sexual predators and escalate deviant behavior. The widespread availability and consumption of pornography have far-reaching implications, not just for individuals, but for society as a whole. One of the most alarming consequences of prolonged exposure to porn is its potential to create sexual predators and escalate deviant behavior. This chapter explores how pornography can influence individuals to cross ethical and legal boundaries, leading to harmful and often criminal actions. The psychological pathway to predatory behavior. Understanding how pornography can transform an individual into a sexual predator requires an exploration of the psychological mechanisms at play. Prolonged exposure to pornographic content can lead to significant changes in thought patterns, desensitization to violence, and an increased appetite for risk-taking behaviors. 1. Desensitization to violence and degradation. Continuous consumption of violent and degrading pornographic content can desensitize individuals to such acts. What initially may seem shocking or disturbing can become normalized, reducing empathy for victims and increasing the acceptance of violent behavior. 2. Escalation of content. As individuals become desensitized, they often seek out more extreme and taboo content to achieve the same level of arousal. This escalation can lead to the consumption of illegal and highly deviant material, such as child pornography or violent rape scenes. 3. Cognitive distortion. Pornography can distort cognitive processes, leading individuals to believe that the behaviors depicted in porn are normal or acceptable. This cognitive distortion can erode moral boundaries and rationalize deviant behavior. 4. Impaired impulse control. Chronic exposure to pornography can impair the brain's prefrontal cortex, which is responsible for impulse control and decision-making. This impairment can make it more difficult for individuals to resist deviant urges and act on them. Case studies and real-life examples. Numerous case studies and real-life examples illustrate the progression from pornography consumption to predatory behavior. 1. Case study, John's descent. John, a middle-aged man, started consuming pornography casually in his 20s. Over time, he found himself increasingly drawn to violent and extreme content. His desensitization to violence and degradation led him to seek out illegal material, including child pornography. Eventually, John was arrested for attempting to meet a minor for sex, highlighting how prolonged porn consumption can lead to real-world predatory behavior. 2. Case study, the Ted Bundy confession. Infamous serial killer Ted Bundy attributed his violent behavior to a long-term addiction to violent pornography. In his final interview before his execution, Bundy claimed that his exposure to pornographic material had escalated his deviant fantasies, ultimately leading to his heinous crimes. While Bundy's case is extreme, it underscores the potential for porn to fuel violent tendencies. Statistics and research findings. Research provides empirical evidence supporting the link between pornography consumption and predatory behavior. 1. Increased aggression. A study published in the journal Aggressive Behavior found that individuals who consumed violent pornography were more likely to exhibit aggressive behavior. The study highlighted a correlation between the consumption of violent porn and an increased propensity for physical aggression. 2. Decreased empathy. Research in the journal Psychological Science found that exposure to violent pornography can reduce empathy for sexual assault victims. This desensitization effect can contribute to a lack of remorse or understanding of the harm caused by predatory actions. 3. Prevalence of deviant fantasies. A study in the Journal of Sexual Medicine indicated that individuals who frequently consumed pornography were more likely to report deviant sexual fantasies, including those involving non-consensual acts. This increase in deviant fantasies is a risk factor for engaging in predatory behavior. The societal impact. The creation of sexual predators through prolonged porn consumption has significant societal implications. 1. Increased crime rates. The normalization and escalation of deviant behavior can lead to an increase in sexual crimes, including assault, harassment, and exploitation. This rise in crime places a burden on law enforcement and judicial systems. 2. Public safety concerns. The presence of sexual predators in communities poses a direct threat to public safety, particularly for vulnerable populations such as children and women. This risk necessitates increased vigilance and protective measures. 3. Erosion of social norms. The widespread acceptance of deviant behavior depicted in pornography can erode social norms and ethical standards. This erosion can lead to a more permissive attitude towards sexual violence and exploitation. 4. Mental health crisis. Victims of predatory behavior often suffer from long-term psychological trauma, contributing to a broader mental health crisis. The societal impact includes increased healthcare costs and the need for extensive support services. Addressing the issue. Combating the creation of sexual predators through pornography requires a multi-pronged approach. 1. Education and prevention. Public education campaigns can raise awareness about the dangers of prolonged porn consumption and its potential to escalate deviant behavior. Schools, communities, and parents should be equipped with resources to educate young people about healthy sexual behavior and the risks of pornography. 2. Mental health support. Providing mental health support for individuals struggling with porn addiction can help prevent the escalation to predatory behavior. Counseling, therapy, and rehabilitation programs are essential components of this support. 3. Stricter regulations. Governments must enforce stricter regulations on the production and distribution of violent and extreme pornography. This includes holding platforms accountable for hosting harmful content and implementing age verification measures to protect minors. 4. Community involvement. Engaging communities in the fight against predatory behavior can create a supportive environment for prevention and intervention. Community programs and initiatives can offer resources and support for at-risk individuals and victims. Conclusion. Prolonged exposure to pornography can have devastating consequences, including the creation of sexual predators and the escalation of deviant behavior. By understanding these risks and taking proactive measures to address them, we can protect individuals and communities from the harmful effects of pornography. As we continue to explore the societal impact of pornography, the next section will delve into the broader moral and ethical concerns, shedding light on how porn challenges our values and norms. Chapter 6. Moral and Ethical Concerns. Anti-religion and anti-morality. How porn contradicts religious teachings and ethical standards. Pornography is not just a personal vice. It poses significant moral and ethical challenges that resonate deeply within religious and secular frameworks alike. Across various cultures and belief systems, pornography stands in stark contradiction to the values and teachings that underpin moral and ethical behavior. This chapter explores how pornography undermines religious doctrines and ethical standards, creating a societal landscape that is increasingly at odds with foundational principles of respect, dignity, and human decency. The clash with religious teachings. Religious teachings across the world often emphasize the sanctity of sex, the importance of chastity, and the value of human dignity. Pornography, by its very nature, contradicts these teachings and erodes the moral fabric that many religions strive to uphold. 1. Christianity. In Christianity, sexual purity and the sanctity of marriage are central tenets. The Bible speaks against lust and sexual immorality, emphasizing that sex should be a sacred act within the bounds of marriage. Pornography, which promotes lust and objectifies individuals, stands in direct opposition to these values. Jesus' teachings in the Sermon on the Mount, Matthew 5:28, explicitly condemn lustful thoughts, equating them with adultery in the heart. 2. Islam. Islam also places a high value on modesty and sexual morality. The Quran teaches that believers should lower their gaze and guard their modesty, Quran 24:30-31. Pornography, which encourages the consumption of explicit sexual content, directly contradicts these principles. It promotes a culture of immodesty and moral degradation, undermining the ethical standards set by Islamic teachings. 3. Judaism. In Judaism, the concepts of tizniyut, modesty, and shomer nagaya, guarding against inappropriate physical contact, are pivotal. Pornography, which exploits and objectifies the human body, violates these principles of modesty and respect. The ethical teachings of Judaism emphasize the importance of treating others with dignity and avoiding behaviors that degrade oneself or others. 4. Hinduism. Hindu teachings also emphasize the sanctity of sex within the bounds of marriage and the importance of self-control. The concept of brahmacharya, celibacy and control over sexual impulses, is a key virtue in Hindu philosophy. Pornography, which stimulates and exploits sexual desires, is contrary to the pursuit of spiritual purity and self-discipline. 5. Buddhism. Buddhism teaches the importance of right action and right intention, which includes ethical sexual conduct. The third precept of Buddhism advises against sexual misconduct, encouraging followers to practice mindfulness and restraint. Pornography, which often depicts and encourages unethical sexual behavior, conflicts with these teachings and can hinder spiritual development. Ethical standards and human dignity. Beyond religious teachings, pornography also clashes with secular ethical standards that emphasize human dignity, respect, and the intrinsic value of individuals. These ethical concerns are rooted in the belief that all people deserve to be treated with respect and should not be objectified or exploited. 1. Objectification and exploitation. Pornography reduces individuals to mere objects of sexual gratification, stripping away their humanity and dignity. This objectification fosters a culture of exploitation, where individuals are valued solely for their physical attributes rather than their inherent worth as human beings. 2. Consent and coercion. The ethical standard of consent is frequently violated in the production of pornography. Many performers are coerced, manipulated, or deceived into participating in pornographic acts. This lack of genuine consent undermines the ethical principle that all sexual activity should be consensual and respectful. 3. Impact on relationships. Pornography can distort perceptions of sex and relationships, leading to unrealistic expectations and unhealthy dynamics. It can erode trust and intimacy between partners, fostering a culture where mutual respect and genuine connection are devalued. 4. Moral degradation. The widespread consumption of pornography contributes to a broader moral degradation in society. It normalizes behaviors that are otherwise considered deviant or unethical, eroding the collective moral standards that underpin a just and respectful society. Societal consequences. The moral and ethical contradictions posed by pornography have significant societal consequences. When pornography becomes normalized, it can lead to a cascade of negative effects that undermine the well-being of individuals and communities. 1. Erosion of moral values. The normalization of pornography can lead to a gradual erosion of societal moral values. What was once considered unacceptable becomes commonplace, leading to a decline in ethical behavior and respect for others. 2. Impact on youth. The exposure of young people to pornography can have lasting negative effects on their development. It can shape their attitudes towards sex and relationships in harmful ways, fostering unrealistic expectations and unhealthy behaviors. This exposure can also interfere with their understanding of consent and respect, leading to issues in their future relationships. 3. Gender inequality. Pornography often perpetuates harmful gender stereotypes and reinforces gender inequality. It typically portrays women in submissive roles and men in dominant roles, perpetuating a power dynamic that can influence real-world interactions and contribute to gender-based violence. 4. Public health concerns. The consumption of pornography is linked to various public health issues, including increased rates of sexually transmitted infections, STIs, sexual dysfunction, and mental health disorders. These health concerns have broader implications for healthcare systems and society as a whole. Addressing the moral and ethical challenges. Confronting the moral and ethical challenges posed by pornography requires a multifaceted approach involving education, advocacy, and policy changes. 1. Education and advocacy. Educating individuals, particularly young people, about the ethical and moral implications of pornography is crucial. Advocacy efforts can raise awareness about the exploitation and objectification inherent in the industry, promoting a culture of respect and dignity. 2. Policy and regulation. Implementing stricter regulations on the production and distribution of pornography can help mitigate its harmful effects. Policies that enforce age verification, consent, and ethical standards in the production of pornographic content are essential. 3. Support and resources. Providing support and resources for individuals struggling with pornography addiction can help address the root causes of consumption. Counseling, therapy, and support groups can promote healthier behaviors and relationships. 4. Community engagement. Engaging communities in discussions about the moral and ethical challenges of pornography can foster a collective commitment to upholding values of respect and dignity. Community initiatives can create supportive environments for individuals and families. Conclusion. Pornography presents significant moral and ethical challenges that resonate deeply across religious and secular frameworks. By undermining principles of respect, dignity, and ethical behavior, pornography poses a threat to the moral fabric of society. Addressing these challenges requires a collective effort to educate, advocate, and implement policies that uphold human dignity and respect. As we continue, the next chapter will explore real-life consequences of pornography, including its impact on families and public health. Hypocrisy in porn. Addressing the hypocrisy of pornographic content. Pornography often presents itself as a form of adult entertainment that celebrates sexual freedom and expression. However, beneath this veneer lies a troubling hypocrisy. The industry frequently promotes and profits from content that glorifies illegal and immoral activities, while simultaneously hiding behind claims of consent and freedom. This chapter delves into the contradictory nature of pornographic content, exposing the ethical inconsistencies and the dangerous implications for society. The illusion of consent and freedom. The porn industry often markets itself as a champion of sexual liberation, emphasizing the importance of consent and the freedom to explore one's sexuality. However, this image is starkly at odds with the reality of how much pornographic content is produced and consumed. 1. Exploitation. Under the guise of consent, many performers are coerced, manipulated, or economically pressured into participating in pornography. While the industry touts consent, the reality for many performers is far from consensual. Economic desperation, lack of alternatives, and manipulation often play significant roles in their participation. 2. Freedom versus coercion. The narrative of sexual freedom is undermined by the coercive practices within the industry. Performers may be promised one thing and delivered another, with little recourse once they are on set. The power dynamics at play often leave performers vulnerable and without true agency. 3. Misleading representation. The industry frequently portrays itself as a space for consensual and joyful sexual expression. However, the prevalence of abusive and degrading content, often marketed as consensual, tells a different story. This misleading representation hides the exploitation and abuse that many performers endure. The illusion of consent and freedom. The porn industry often markets itself as a champion of sexual liberation, emphasizing the importance of consent and the freedom to explore one's sexuality. However, this image is starkly at odds with the reality of how much pornographic content is produced and consumed. 1. Exploitation. Under the guise of consent, many performers are coerced, manipulated, or economically pressured into participating in pornography. While the industry touts consent, the reality for many performers is far from consensual. Economic desperation, lack of alternatives, and manipulation often play significant roles in their participation. 2. Freedom versus coercion. The narrative of sexual freedom is undermined by the coercive practices within the industry. Performers may be promised one thing and delivered another, with little recourse once they are on set. The power dynamics at play often leave performers vulnerable and without true agency. 3. Misleading representation. The industry frequently portrays itself as a space for consensual and joyful sexual expression. However, the prevalence of abusive and degrading content, often marketed as consensual, tells a different story. This misleading representation hides the exploitation and abuse that many performers endure. Categories promoting illegal and immoral activities. The hypocrisy of the porn industry is most evident in the categories and genres it promotes, many of which glorify illegal and immoral activities. These categories not only reflect societal taboos, but also perpetuate harmful behaviors and attitudes. 1. Incest and family role play. Categories that depict incestuous relationships, often under the guise of step-family scenarios, promote taboo and illegal activities. These narratives normalize and eroticize familial sexual relationships, which are both morally and legally wrong. 2. Rape and non-consensual fantasy. Pornographic content that features rape or non-consensual scenarios perpetuates the normalization of sexual violence. Even when presented as fantasy, such content can desensitize viewers to the real-world implications of sexual assault and undermine the importance of consent. 3. Teen and underage content. The portrayal of teen or schoolgirl scenarios often skirts the line of legality, exploiting the allure of youth and innocence. This genre not only objectifies minors, but also fuels the demand for underage pornography, contributing to the exploitation of real children. 4. Revenge porn and voyeurism. Content that involves the non-consensual sharing of intimate images or voyeuristic scenarios promotes the violation of privacy and consent. These categories encourage viewers to engage in or accept behaviors that are ethically and legally reprehensible. The impact of hypocritical content. The promotion of such hypocritical content has far-reaching consequences, impacting individual behaviors and societal norms. The normalization of illegal and immoral activities in pornography can desensitize viewers and contribute to harmful real-world actions. 1. Normalization of abuse. By presenting abusive and illegal activities as acceptable or even desirable, pornography normalizes these behaviors. This can lead to increased acceptance of violence and exploitation in real-life relationships. 2. Desensitization. Continuous exposure to extreme and immoral content can desensitize individuals to the seriousness of these actions. What begins as fantasy can blur the lines of acceptability, reducing the psychological barriers to committing similar acts. 3. Influence on youth. Young people who consume pornography are particularly vulnerable to the messages it conveys. Exposure to hypocritical content can shape their understanding of sex and relationships in harmful ways, promoting attitudes that condone or even encourage illegal and immoral behaviors. 4. Perpetuation of stereotypes. Pornography often relies on harmful stereotypes, particularly regarding gender roles and power dynamics. The promotion of content that glorifies dominance and submission, particularly in violent or non-consensual contexts, reinforces these stereotypes and perpetuates gender inequality. Addressing the hypocrisy. Confronting the hypocrisy of pornographic content requires a multifaceted approach involving industry reform, consumer education, and societal change. 1. Industry accountability. The porn industry must be held accountable for the content it produces and distributes. This includes stricter regulations to ensure that all content is consensual and ethical, as well as transparency about the conditions under which performers work. 2. Consumer awareness. Educating consumers about the realities of the porn industry and the ethical implications of their viewing choices is crucial. By promoting critical consumption and awareness, individuals can make more informed and ethical decisions. 3. Legal reform. Governments must implement and enforce laws that prohibit the production and distribution of content that promotes illegal and immoral activities. This includes cracking down on sites that host such content and ensuring that justice is served for those exploited by the industry. 4. Cultural shift. Society must work towards a cultural shift that prioritizes respect, dignity, and ethical behavior in all aspects of life, including sexual expression. This involves challenging and changing the narratives that pornography promotes, fostering a more respectful and consensual approach to sexuality. Conclusion. The hypocrisy of the porn industry is a significant moral and ethical concern that undermines societal values and promotes harmful behaviors. By addressing these contradictions and working towards a more ethical approach to sexual content, we can protect individuals from exploitation and foster a healthier, more respectful society. As we continue, the next chapter will explore real-life consequences of pornography, including its impact on families and public health. Chapter 7. Real-life consequences. Case studies, linking criminal behavior to porn addiction. Understanding the real-life consequences of pornography requires delving into case studies that illustrate the profound impact it can have on individuals and society. These case studies reveal how pornography addiction can escalate to criminal behavior, including some of the most heinous crimes. By examining these examples, we can better grasp the seriousness of porn addiction and its potential to lead to devastating outcomes. The case of Ted Bundy. One of the most infamous examples of the link between pornography addiction and criminal behavior is the case of Ted Bundy. Bundy, a notorious serial killer, confessed before his execution that pornography played a significant role in shaping his violent tendencies. 1. Bundy's confession. In his final interview with Dr. James Dobson, Bundy admitted that his exposure to violent pornography fueled his fantasies and escalated his desire to commit brutal acts. He described how his addiction began with softcore material and gradually led to the consumption of increasingly violent content, which desensitized him and stoked his urges. 2. Psychological impact. Bundy's case underscores the psychological impact of prolonged exposure to violent pornographic material. His desensitization to violence and the escalation of his fantasies demonstrate how pornography can distort an individual's perceptions and reduce empathy for victims. 3. Criminal behavior. Bundy's transition from consuming violent pornography to committing violent crimes illustrates the potential for porn addiction to lead to real-world criminal behavior. His case serves as a stark reminder of the dangers associated with unchecked consumption of extreme pornographic content. Case study: the Toronto van attack. Another chilling example is the case of Alec Manassian, the perpetrator of the 2018 Toronto van attack, which resulted in the deaths of 10 people. Manassian's actions were influenced by his involvement in the incel, involuntary celibate community, which is heavily associated with misogynistic and violent pornography. 1. Influence of online communities. Manassian was active in online incel forums that glorify violence against women and promote extreme pornographic content. These communities often share and celebrate violent sexual fantasies, further entrenching harmful attitudes and behaviors. 2. Radicalization and violence. The combination of consuming violent pornography and participating in toxic online communities can radicalize individuals, leading to extreme and violent actions. Manassian's attack was a direct manifestation of the hatred and misogyny fostered in these environments. 3. Legal and social consequences. This case highlights the broader societal impact of pornography addiction and the way it intersects with online radicalization. It underscores the need for monitoring and addressing harmful online content to prevent such tragedies. Case study: the BTK killer. Dennis Rader, known as the BTK, bind, torture, kill killer, is another notorious criminal who linked his violent behavior to pornography addiction. Over a span of nearly 3 decades, Rader committed a series of brutal murders, during which he derived sexual pleasure from torturing and killing his victims. 1. Early exposure. Rader admitted to being exposed to pornography at a young age, which he claimed influenced his deviant sexual fantasies and violent behavior. His consumption of pornographic material escalated over time, fueling his sadistic tendencies. 2. Connection to crimes. Rader's case illustrates how porn addiction can intertwine with psychopathy to produce violent behavior. His detailed confessions revealed that his fantasies, often inspired by pornographic content, drove him to commit his heinous acts. 3. Impact on victims and society. The BTK case demonstrates the severe impact that individuals like Rader can have on their victims and society at large. His crimes left a lasting legacy of fear and trauma in the communities affected. Case study: the boy next door killer. Michael Gargiulo, known as the boy next door killer, is another example of a criminal whose violent behavior was linked to pornography. Gargiulo was convicted of multiple murders, where he stalked and brutally killed his victims. 1. Stalking and pornography. Gargiulo's pattern of behavior involved stalking his victims, often influenced by the violent and voyeuristic pornography he consumed. His addiction to this content desensitized him to the gravity of his actions and emboldened his predatory behavior. 2. Escalation to murder. Similar to other cases, Gargiulo's consumption of pornographic material escalated from fantasy to reality. The thrill he derived from stalking and fantasizing about violence ultimately led to the actualization of these fantasies through murder. 3. Legal proceedings. During his trial, experts testified about Gargiulo's addiction to violent pornography and how it influenced his behavior. This case highlights the role that porn addiction can play in shaping criminal actions and the importance of addressing such addictions in legal contexts. Conclusion. These case studies highlight the real-life consequences of pornography addiction and its potential to escalate into criminal behavior. The connection between porn consumption and violent, deviant actions underscores the importance of addressing porn addiction as a serious public health issue. By understanding these links, we can better advocate for preventive measures, support for individuals struggling with addiction, and stricter regulations on pornographic content. As we continue, the next chapter will delve into the broader public health implications of pornography, exploring its impact on families, relationships, and mental health. Impact on families. How porn addiction affects families, including increased divorce rates and relationship conflicts. Porn addiction doesn't just impact the individual consuming the content. It reverberates throughout their personal relationships, often causing significant strain and damage. The effects on families can be profound, leading to increased divorce rates, relationship conflicts, and emotional distress for all involved. This chapter explores these impacts, highlighting the challenges families face when dealing with porn addiction. The strain on marriages are often the first to feel the impact of porn addiction. The secrecy, shame, and unrealistic expectations fostered by pornography can create a rift between partners, leading to various issues. 1. Betrayal and trust issues. Discovering a partner's porn addiction can feel like a betrayal, akin to infidelity. The secrecy and deception involved in hiding porn use can erode trust, making it difficult for partners to feel secure and connected in their relationship. 2. Emotional distance. Porn addiction can create an emotional distance between partners. The addict may become more withdrawn, focusing their attention on pornography rather than on their partner. This can lead to feelings of neglect and loneliness for the non-addicted partner. 3. Sexual dysfunction. Porn-induced sexual dysfunction, such as erectile dysfunction or lack of interest in real-life intimacy, can severely impact marital relations. These issues can lead to frustration, rejection, and further emotional disconnect. 4. Unrealistic expectations. Pornography often portrays exaggerated and unrealistic sexual scenarios. When one partner expects the other to mimic these acts, it can create pressure and dissatisfaction in the relationship. This can lead to sexual dissatisfaction and conflict. Increased divorce rates. The cumulative effects of porn addiction on a marriage often lead to an increased risk of divorce. The American Academy of Matrimonial Lawyers reports that 56% of divorce cases involve one party having an obsessive interest in pornographic websites. 1. Irreconcilable differences. Many couples cite irreconcilable differences stemming from porn addiction as a reason for divorce. The emotional and sexual disconnect, along with ongoing trust issues, can make reconciliation challenging. 2. Financial strain. In some cases, porn addiction can lead to financial problems. Individuals may spend significant amounts of money on subscriptions, explicit content, or related services. Financial strain adds another layer of conflict and stress in the marriage. 3. Custody battles. When children are involved, porn addiction can complicate custody arrangements. Courts often consider the moral and emotional environment of the home, and a parent's addiction to pornography can impact their chances of gaining custody. 4. Emotional toll. The emotional toll of dealing with a partner's addiction can lead to mental health issues such as anxiety, depression, and low self-esteem. These issues can further complicate the marital relationship and contribute to the decision to divorce. Impact on children. Children in families affected by porn addiction also suffer significant consequences. The emotional and psychological impact on children can be profound and long-lasting. 1. Exposure to inappropriate content. In homes where porn addiction is present, there is a risk that children may accidentally be exposed to explicit material. This exposure can lead to confusion, fear, and inappropriate behavior. 2. Emotional neglect. A parent struggling with porn addiction may become emotionally unavailable to their children. This neglect can lead to feelings of abandonment and low self-worth in children, affecting their emotional development. 3. Modeling behavior. Children learn behaviors and values from their parents. When a parent is addicted to porn, it can send conflicting messages about sexuality, respect, and relationships. This modeling can impact a child's future relationships and self-image. 4. Family conflict. Constant conflict between parents due to porn addiction creates a stressful environment for children. Witnessing ongoing arguments and emotional turmoil can lead to anxiety, behavioral issues, and difficulty in school. Relationship conflicts. Beyond marriage and direct family members, porn addiction can strain extended relationships, including those with friends, colleagues, and the broader community. 1. Social isolation. Individuals with porn addiction may become socially isolated, preferring to engage with pornography rather than spending time with friends and family. This isolation can lead to loneliness and a breakdown in social connections. 2. Workplace issues. Porn addiction can spill over into the workplace, leading to decreased productivity, missed deadlines, and even disciplinary actions if inappropriate content is accessed at work. This can strain professional relationships and career prospects. 3. Community stigma. The stigma associated with porn addiction can lead to judgment and ostracization from the community. Families dealing with a member's addiction may find themselves isolated and lacking support from their social networks. Addressing the impact on families. Addressing the impact of porn addiction on families requires a comprehensive approach involving therapy, open communication, and community support. 1. Therapy and counseling. Professional therapy can help individuals and couples address the underlying issues of porn addiction. Therapists can provide tools for rebuilding trust, improving communication, and restoring intimacy. 2. Support groups. Support groups for individuals and families affected by porn addiction offer a space for sharing experiences and receiving support. These groups can reduce feelings of isolation and provide practical advice for managing the addiction's impact. 3. Education and awareness. Educating families about the risks and consequences of porn addiction is crucial. Awareness campaigns and resources can help families recognize the signs of addiction and seek help early. 4. Open communication. Encouraging open and honest communication within the family can help address the issues associated with porn addiction. Families should create a safe space for discussing feelings and concerns without judgment. Conclusion. The impact of porn addiction on families is profound, affecting marriages, children, and extended relationships. The increased risk of divorce, emotional and psychological strain on children, and social isolation underscore the need for comprehensive support and intervention. By addressing these issues openly and seeking professional help, families can work towards healing and rebuilding their relationships. As we continue, the next chapter will delve into the broader public health implications of pornography, exploring its impact on mental health and societal well-being. Public health concerns, the spread of STDs and other public health impacts. Due to risky sexual behaviors influenced by pornography's influence extends beyond individual behavior, impacting public health in significant ways. One of the most concerning aspects is the spread of sexually transmitted diseases, STDs, due to risky sexual behaviors influenced by pornographic content. This chapter explores these public health impacts, highlighting how porn can shape sexual practices and contribute to broader health crises. The link between pornography and risky sexual behaviors. Pornography often depicts exaggerated and unrealistic sexual scenarios that can influence viewers' perceptions and behaviors. These portrayals can lead to the normalization of risky sexual practices, increasing the likelihood of engaging in behaviors that elevate the risk of contracting STDs. 1. Normalization of unprotected sex. Many pornographic scenes depict unprotected sex, giving the impression that it is normal and without consequences. This portrayal can lead viewers to underestimate the importance of using protection, increasing the risk of STD transmission. 2. Multiple partners. Porn frequently glamorizes sex with multiple partners, promoting the idea that having numerous sexual encounters is desirable and without risk. This behavior significantly increases the likelihood of spreading STDs. 3. Anal and rough sex. Depictions of anal sex and rough sexual practices are common in pornography. These activities carry a higher risk of injury and infection, particularly when not performed safely. Viewers who mimic these behaviors without proper knowledge and precautions are at greater risk. 4. Lack of communication. Pornographic content rarely shows partners discussing sexual health, consent, or boundaries. This lack of communication can lead to unsafe practices and misunderstandings in real-life sexual encounters. Public health data and statistics. Numerous studies and reports have documented the public health impact of risky sexual behaviors influenced by pornography. 1. Rising STD rates. According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, CDC, rates of sexually transmitted diseases such as chlamydia, gonorrhea, and syphilis have been rising steadily over the past decade. These increases correlate with greater access to and consumption of pornography, which often depicts risky sexual behaviors. 2. Young people at risk. Research published in the journal Pediatrics found that adolescents who consumed pornography were more likely to engage in risky sexual behaviors, including unprotected sex and having multiple partners. This demographic is particularly vulnerable to the influence of porn due to their developmental stage and lack of sexual experience. 3. Impact on sexual health education. A study in the Journal of Sex Research highlighted that pornography often serves as an informal source of sexual education for many young people. The unrealistic and unsafe practices depicted can distort their understanding of healthy sexual behavior and increase their risk of STDs. Case studies and real-life examples. Several case studies illustrate the direct impact of pornography on public health through the spread of STDs. 1. Case study. College outbreak. A college campus experienced an outbreak of chlamydia, traced back to a group of students who frequently consumed and mimicked behaviors seen in pornography. The lack of condom use and multiple sexual partners, as depicted in the pornographic content, were key factors in the outbreak. 2. Case study. Adolescent health crisis. In a high school, several students contracted gonorrhea after engaging in unprotected sex influenced by pornography. The students admitted that their understanding of sex and safety came largely from the porn they watched, which rarely depicted safe sex practices. 3. Case study. Community health center. A community health center reported a spike in STD cases, particularly among young adults who cited pornography as a significant influence on their sexual behavior. Health professionals noted a lack of awareness and education about safe sex practices among this group. Broader public health implications. The influence of pornography extends beyond the spread of STDs, impacting various aspects of public health. 1. Mental health issues. Pornography consumption is linked to various mental health issues, including anxiety, depression, and addiction. These conditions can exacerbate risky behaviors and further complicate public health efforts. 2. Sexual dysfunction. The unrealistic depictions of sex in pornography can lead to sexual dysfunction, such as erectile dysfunction and decreased libido. These issues can create additional health challenges and strain on healthcare systems. 3. Health education gaps. The reliance on pornography as a source of sexual education highlights significant gaps in formal sexual health education. Addressing these gaps is crucial for promoting safe sexual practices and reducing the spread of STDs. Addressing the public health impact. Addressing the public health impact of pornography requires a multifaceted approach involving education, healthcare, and policy. 1. Comprehensive sexual education. Implementing comprehensive sexual education programs that provide accurate information about safe sex practices, consent, and healthy relationships is essential. These programs should counteract the misinformation often propagated by pornography. 2. Public awareness campaigns. Public health campaigns can raise awareness about the risks associated with pornography and promote safe sexual behaviors. These campaigns should target various demographics, including adolescents and young adults. 3. Healthcare provider. Training. Training healthcare providers to recognize and address the influence of pornography on patients' sexual behaviors can improve diagnosis and treatment of STDs. Providers should be equipped to discuss safe sex practices and the risks of porn consumption with their patients. 4. Policy and regulation. Policies that regulate the production and distribution of pornographic content, ensuring that it includes depictions of safe sex practices, can help mitigate some of the public health risks. Additionally, age verification measures can prevent minors from accessing harmful content. Conclusion. Pornography has a significant impact on public health, particularly through the spread of STDs, due to risky sexual behaviors it promotes. Addressing these issues requires comprehensive education, public awareness, and policy changes. By tackling the public health implications of pornography, we can promote safer sexual behaviors and improve overall health outcomes. As we continue, the next chapter will explore the broader societal impact of pornography, examining how it influences behaviors and norms on a larger scale. Chapter 8: The Hidden Dangers of the Internet. Deep Web and Dark Content. The more sinister aspects of porn. Available on the Deep Web. The Internet has revolutionized access to information and entertainment, but it has also opened the door to more sinister and dangerous forms of content. The Deep Web, a hidden part of the Internet not indexed by standard search engines, and the Dark Web, a subsection accessible only through specialized software, are notorious for hosting some of the most disturbing and illegal pornography. This chapter explores the hidden dangers of the Deep Web, focusing on the extreme and harmful content available and the significant threats it poses to individuals and society. Understanding the Deep Web and Dark Web. The Deep Web comprises parts of the Internet that are not indexed by traditional search engines. This includes private databases, subscription-only services, and confidential corporate and government information. The Dark Web, on the other hand, is intentionally hidden and requires specific software, such as Tor, to access. It is here that some of the most illicit and dangerous activities, including the distribution of illegal pornography, take place. 1. Anonymity and encryption. The Dark Web's use of encryption and anonymity tools makes it a haven for illegal activities. Users can browse and share content with minimal risk of detection by authorities, facilitating the spread of illegal and harmful material. 2. Unregulated content. Unlike the surface web, where some level of regulation exists, the Dark Web operates without oversight. This lack of regulation allows for the proliferation of content that would be illegal or banned on mainstream platforms. The dark side of pornography on the Deep Web. The pornography available on the Deep Web often involves extreme and illegal content that goes far beyond the already concerning material found on the surface web. This includes child pornography, violent and sadistic videos, and content involving non-consensual acts. 1. Child pornography. The Deep Web is notorious for hosting child pornography, one of the most heinous and illegal forms of content. This material is often produced through the exploitation and abuse of minors, with devastating long-term effects on the victims. 2. Violent and sadistic content. The anonymity of the Deep Web allows for the distribution of extremely violent and sadistic pornography. This can include depictions of rape, torture, and other forms of extreme abuse, often involving real victims who are coerced or forced into participation. 3. Non-consensual acts. Videos depicting non-consensual acts, including voyeuristic content and revenge porn, are prevalent on the Deep Web. These materials violate the privacy and consent of individuals, causing significant emotional and psychological harm. Case studies and real-life examples. Several high-profile cases have highlighted the dangers of the Deep Web and its role in the distribution of illegal pornography. 1. Case study: Operation Darknet. In a major international effort known as Operation Darknet, law enforcement agencies from various countries collaborated to shut down multiple dark websites hosting child pornography. The operation led to numerous arrests and the rescue of several children from abusive situations. 2. Case study: The Dark Scandals. Case. In 2019, Europol dismantled the Dark Scandals website, which sold videos of sexual abuse, including rape and child pornography, in exchange for cryptocurrency. The operation led to the seizure of large amounts of illicit content and the arrest of the site's operator. 3. Case study: The FBI's Playpen investigation. The FBI's Playpen investigation targeted a dark website that hosted and distributed child pornography. The operation resulted in hundreds of arrests and the identification of numerous victims, The case underscored the global reach and complexity of combating dark web pornography, the impact on individuals and society. The distribution and consumption of extreme and illegal pornography on the deep web have profound effects on both individuals and society at large. 1. Victimization and exploitation. The primary victims of deep web pornography are the individuals, often minors, who are exploited and abused to create this content. The trauma and harm inflicted on these victims are severe and long-lasting. 2. Psychological harm. Consumers of dark web pornography can experience psychological harm, including desensitization to violence, increased aggression, and the development of deviant sexual preferences. This can lead to further criminal behavior and societal harm. 3. Legal and ethical issues. The existence of such content poses significant legal and ethical challenges. Law enforcement agencies face difficulties in tracking and prosecuting offenders due to the anonymity of the dark web. Additionally, the ethical implications of such material challenge societal norms and values. 4. Public safety concerns. The proliferation of extreme pornography on the deep web poses a threat to public safety. Individuals who consume and are influenced by this content may engage in harmful behaviors, including sexual violence and exploitation. Combating the dangers of the deep web. Addressing the threats posed by the deep web requires a coordinated and multifaceted approach. 1. Law enforcement collaboration. International collaboration among law enforcement agencies is crucial for tracking and dismantling dark web networks. Operations like those led by Europol and the FBI are essential for combating the spread of illegal pornography. 2. Technological solutions. Advancements in technology can aid in identifying and shutting down dark websites. Tools for monitoring, tracking, and decrypting dark web activity are essential in the fight against illegal content. 3. Public awareness and education. Raising public awareness about the dangers of the deep web and the illegal activities it hosts can help reduce demand for such content. Education initiatives should inform the public about the ethical and legal implications of consuming illegal pornography. 4. Support for victims. Providing support and resources for victims of exploitation is crucial. This includes legal assistance, counseling, and rehabilitation services to help victims recover and rebuild their lives. Conclusion. The deep web harbors some of the most sinister and dangerous forms of pornography, posing significant threats to individuals and society. By understanding these hidden dangers and taking proactive measures to combat them, we can protect vulnerable individuals and uphold societal values. As we continue, the next chapter will explore strategies for overcoming porn addiction, providing practical advice and support for those seeking to break free from its grip. Chapter 9. Parental Guidance. Protecting Children from Online Pornography. Practical Tips for Parents. In today's digital age, protecting children from online pornography is a significant challenge for parents. The internet offers vast educational and entertainment resources, but it also exposes young minds to inappropriate and harmful content. This chapter provides practical tips and strategies for parents to safeguard their children from online pornography and foster a healthy, respectful understanding of sexuality. Understanding the risks before diving into protective measures, it's essential to understand the risks associated with online pornography. 1. Early exposure. Children can inadvertently encounter pornographic material at a very young age, often leading to confusion, fear, or curiosity. 2. Desensitization. Repeated exposure to pornography can desensitize children to sexual content, leading to distorted perceptions of sex and relationships. 3. Addiction. Like adults, children can develop an addiction to pornography, which can interfere with their emotional and social development. 4. Risky behavior. Exposure to pornographic content can lead to risky behaviors, including attempting to mimic what they see or engaging in unsafe sexual practices. Communication is key. One of the most effective ways to protect children from online pornography is through open and honest communication. 1. Start early. Begin conversations about internet safety and appropriate content early. Use age-appropriate language and concepts to discuss the difference between public and private parts, as well as the importance of privacy. 2. Be approachable. Create an environment where your children feel comfortable discussing their online experiences with you. Let them know they can come to you with any questions or concerns without fear of judgment or punishment. 3. Discuss healthy relationships. Teach your children about healthy relationships and respect for themselves and others. Explain that pornography often depicts unrealistic and disrespectful behaviors. 4. Use teachable moments. Use everyday situations, such as a TV show or news story, to discuss appropriate and inappropriate content. These moments can help reinforce your messages in a natural context. Setting boundaries and controls. Implementing boundaries and parental controls can help limit your child's exposure to inappropriate content. 1. Use parental controls. Most devices and internet service providers offer parental control settings. Use these tools to block access to inappropriate websites and set age-appropriate filters for content. 2. Monitor internet use. Keep computers, tablets, and other devices in common areas where you can monitor your child's internet use. Regularly check browsing history and discuss any concerning content. 3. Set time limits. Limit the amount of time your child spends online. Encourage them to participate in offline activities such as sports, reading, and family outings. 4. Educate about privacy. Teach your children about the importance of keeping personal information private and the risks of chatting with strangers online. Encourage them to tell you if they encounter anything uncomfortable or suspicious. Educating about digital literacy. Helping your children become digitally literate is crucial in protecting them from online dangers, including pornography. 1. Teach critical thinking. Encourage your children to think critically about the content they encounter online. Discuss how to identify reliable sources and the importance of questioning what they see. 2. Explain internet permanence. Teach your children that what they post online can have lasting consequences. Emphasize the importance of maintaining a positive digital footprint. 3. Discuss advertising and pop-ups. Explain that not all online content is safe and that some ads and pop-ups may lead to harmful websites. Teach them to avoid clicking on suspicious links, leading by example. Children often emulate their parents' behavior. Model responsible internet use to reinforce the lessons you're teaching. 1. Set a good example. Be mindful of your own internet habits. Avoid viewing inappropriate content and demonstrate healthy, respectful behavior online. 2. Family internet rules. Establish and follow family internet rules, such as no devices during meals or family time. Consistency will help reinforce the importance of these rules. 3. Discuss your own use. Share your internet experiences with your children. Discuss how you navigate online spaces safely and responsibly. Providing resources and support. Equip your children with resources and support to help them navigate the digital world safely. 1. Educational resources. Provide access to age-appropriate books, websites, and videos that teach about internet safety and healthy sexuality. Websites like Common Sense Media offer reviews and recommendations for family-friendly content. 2. Professional help. If you suspect your child has been exposed to harmful content or is struggling with internet addiction, seek professional help. Therapists and counselors can provide support and guidance. 3. Support networks. Encourage your child to talk to trusted adults, such as teachers, coaches, or family friends, if they feel uncomfortable discussing certain topics with you. A support network can provide additional layers of safety and advice. Conclusion. Protecting children from online pornography is a complex but essential task for parents. By fostering open communication, setting boundaries, educating about digital literacy, leading by example, and providing resources and support, parents can help their children navigate the digital world safely. These efforts not only protect children from harmful content, but also promote healthy, respectful attitudes towards sex and relationships. Chapter 10. Overcoming porn addiction. Steps to recovery, support systems, and success stories. Overcoming porn addiction is a challenging journey that requires determination, support, and effective strategies. This chapter provides practical steps and methods for recovery, highlights the importance of support systems, and shares inspiring stories of individuals who have successfully overcome their addiction. Steps to recovery, practical steps and methods. 1. Acknowledgement and acceptance. The first step towards recovery is acknowledging the addiction and accepting the need for change. This involves recognizing the negative impact of porn on your life and committing to the recovery process. 2. Set clear goals. Define your goals for recovery. This could include reducing the frequency of porn use, eliminating it altogether, or improving specific aspects of your life affected by the addiction. Setting clear, achievable goals provides direction and motivation. 3. Identify triggers. Understand the triggers that lead to porn use. These can be emotional, such as stress or loneliness, or situational, such as certain times of the day or specific environments. Identifying triggers helps in developing strategies to avoid or manage them. 4. Create a plan. Develop a comprehensive plan that includes specific steps to overcome addiction. This plan might involve avoiding triggers, engaging in alternative activities, and setting up accountability measures. 5. Limit access. Use technology to your advantage by installing software that blocks access to pornographic sites. Set up parental controls on your devices and consider using apps designed to help with addiction recovery. 6. Develop healthy habits. Replace porn consumption with healthier activities. Exercise, hobbies, reading, and spending time with loved ones can provide fulfillment and reduce the urge to watch porn. 7. Mindfulness and meditation. Practice mindfulness and meditation to manage stress and increase self-awareness. These techniques can help you stay grounded and focused on your recovery goals. 8. Journaling. Keep a journal to track your progress, identify patterns, and reflect on your journey. Writing about your experiences can provide insights and reinforce your commitment to recovery. 9. Professional help. Consider seeking help from a therapist or counselor who specializes in addiction. Professional guidance can provide personalized strategies and emotional support. 10. Celebrate milestones. Recognize and celebrate your progress, no matter how small. Celebrating milestones reinforces positive behavior and boosts motivation. Support systems. The importance of support groups, therapy, and community. 1. Support groups. Joining a support group can provide a sense of community and shared experience. Groups like Sex Addicts Anonymous, SAA, offer meetings where individuals can share their struggles and successes, providing mutual support. 2. Therapy and counseling. Professional therapy can be incredibly beneficial. Therapists can help address underlying issues, such as trauma or anxiety, that contribute to addiction. Cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, is particularly effective in changing negative thought patterns and behaviors. 3. Family and friends. Having the support of loved ones is crucial. Open up to trusted family members and friends about your struggle. Their encouragement and understanding can provide a strong foundation for recovery. 4. Online communities. Online forums and communities can offer additional support, especially if in-person groups are not accessible. Websites like NoFap and Reddit's R Porn Free provide platforms for sharing experiences and advice. 5. Accountability partners. Partnering with someone who holds you accountable can be very effective. This person can check in on your progress, offer encouragement, and help you stay on track. 6. Educational resources. Utilize books, articles, and videos to educate yourself about addiction and recovery. Understanding the science and psychology behind addiction can empower you to make informed decisions. Success stories, inspiring stories of overcoming porn addiction. 1. John's journey to freedom. John struggled with porn addiction for over a decade. He hit rock bottom when his addiction started affecting his job and relationships. Determined to change, John sought therapy and joined a support group. With the help of a therapist, he addressed underlying issues of loneliness and self-esteem. Today, John has been porn-free for 3 years, has rebuilt his relationships, and mentors others in his support group. 2. Sarah's path to recovery. Sarah's addiction began in her teenage years and continued into adulthood. She felt ashamed and isolated, believing she was alone in her struggle. After confiding in a close friend, Sarah found the courage to seek help. She attended group therapy sessions and practiced mindfulness to manage her triggers. Sarah's journey was not easy, but with persistent effort and support, she has been free from porn addiction for 2 years. She now shares her story to inspire others. 3. Mark's transformation. Mark's addiction to pornography started in college and escalated over time. The addiction strained his marriage and affected his mental health. Desperate for change, Mark installed software to block pornographic sites and started journaling to understand his triggers. He also attended individual therapy and couples counseling. Mark's hard work paid off, and he has been sober for over a year. His marriage has improved, and he feels more in control of his life. 4. Emily's empowerment. Emily felt trapped in her addiction, which began as a way to cope with stress. After discovering an online community dedicated to overcoming porn addiction, she decided to take action. Emily set small, achievable goals and gradually built up her confidence. She found strength in the stories of others and used mindfulness techniques to stay focused. Emily has now been free from porn addiction for 18 months and volunteers in her community to help others facing similar challenges. Conclusion. Overcoming porn addiction is a challenging but achievable goal. By following practical steps, seeking support from therapy and community, and drawing inspiration from success stories, individuals can reclaim control over their lives. Recovery is a journey that requires commitment, resilience, and support, but the rewards, improved relationships, mental health, and overall well-being, are well worth the effort. As we conclude this book, remember that change is possible, and you are not alone on this journey.